Let that sink in for a minute. They're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way, which is true. And, I want to talk to you about this IRS deal that passed, um, which grants 87,000 IRS agents now to come on board, making them the largest government institution, and almost $750,000 of live round ammunition for the IRS. Why? I couldn't even tell you. But with this Biden administration, the goal is total and complete tyranny. They've been purging those who have conservative and Christian values, who loves life, who loves the Constitution, who loves all the different rights that we have, out of the military and different alphabet agencies under this government. They've also been purging those from the FBI and other groups like that. So we'll talk about that. But, on this Trump raid at Mar-a-Lago, Bruce Reinhardt, he helped Jeffrey Epstein escape real justice being served towards him. And he is now a magistrate or a judge, federal judge, appointed, I believe, under Barack Obama. And he's the one who signed off, or the last one to sign off, on giving the warrant to the FBI to go into Mar-a-Lago. It all makes sense now. And Merrick Garland, who wanted a seat at one time at the table for the Supreme Court, which that was taken away from him because when Trump got in office, he appointed some of his people and got them put in. So Christopher Wray, FBI agent, chief, top FBI director, was also behind this. He wanted to play dumb like he did not know. And you have these three that are involved, White House, acting like they're dumb and they didn't know what's going on. And here, I'll show you this. So you have this guy right here, the magistrate Bruce Reinhardt, who represented Jeffrey Epstein personnel. He's the one who approved the raid. And he's, represented Jeffrey Epstein one time when he was an attorney. But again, like I said, he's a federal judge. That's him. That's that jerk right there. Yep, that's him. Sadly, you don't hear any of much Republicans saying much about this, but you hear some, but not enough. And it's really everyone, don't matter what side of the aisle you're on. What the FBI did was illegal. And the FBI and the DOJ is being weaponized. Like whoever is in charge of the country is weaponizing these obedient, minded slaves to go after that person's political enemies. And this is just like being in Cuba or one of the countries in Venezuela, where even Hugo Chavez did the same thing, or you see the Castros would weaponize their people to go against anyone who would try to run against them. And you had other presidents of some South American countries who was criticizing this, saying, if they would have done this, like the president of El Salvador said, if we would have done this or I would have done this, then you guys would have had something to say. And paraphrasing, but of all people who voiced their opinion, now I don't know where this was coming from, but in this sense, I can agree with him, even though I don't really care for the gentleman. Andrew Cuomo said this right here. He said, DOJ must immediately explain the reason for its raid, and it must be more than a search for inconsequential archives, or it will be viewed as a political tactic and undermine any future credible investigation and legitimacy of January 6 investigations. So even Andrew Cuomo has some common sense to say on this issue, opposed to some of the cowardly Republicans who didn't say nothing. Andrew Yang was another one who ran for president on the Democratic side, said FBI action strengthens case for millions who will see raid as unjust persecution, which is definitely true. But we see the bias, as we see they didn't go after the big guy. They didn't go after Biden's crackhead son. They didn't go after Pelosi for insider trading. They didn't go after the Clintons. They didn't go after Epstein. They went after the one man who promised to expose them all. Does it make sense now? And one thing that President Trump said that he shouldn't have probably mentioned yet was Schedule F. I believe that's what it's called, Schedule F, which talks about removing a lot of these corrupt agents in these alphabet agencies, which he should have not said, because once he said that, they started putting hit pieces last week out in the papers. And even though there's a lot of corruption in the government, he shouldn't have said that so soon until he got back in the horse's saddle or the driver's seat. And so now what happened is that he ticked off a lot of people. And what they did should have never happened to any former president at all, because really what they did was illegal. It doesn't matter who signed off on it. It was illegal, and it was a Gestapo style tactics that was done by the FBI through the DOJ. And now I want you to understand that these same people with the DOJ are the same ones that see you as an enemy. And I'm going to show you something here. Lisa Haven said this. She said, first Alex, then Trump, next 87,000 IRS agents just added by the Democrats in their new bill are coming for you, which is very true. 87,000 IRS agents in the new Democratic bill, and you showing Kamala Harris cackling like a hyena because of her vote in this, which gives the IRS the power to try not to come after the rich. That's a lie, but it gives them power to oppress people over every little minute dime and penny, and to create ultimately two classes, the rich and the poor, while they're exempt and untouchable from these things. And so again, why are they giving the IRS $750,000? That's enough to fund a small army. And so you have all of these different see the same side that's behind the FBI and the DOJ, and that's weaponizing them via the Biden administration, is the same one that is behind the IRS. It's the same one. It's these this Democratic machine. And again, I'm not trying to pick on a certain side, because they all have their flaws, but it is what it is. And you have the Biden weaponizing the DOJ that even the same DOJ that came after Trump came after school parents. Now watch this. Lisa Haven also said this. This is true. The FBI needs to be disbanded immediately. They are acting like brown shirts, which is a, you know, group that was in under Hitler back in the day, the brown shirts. And this is no exaggeration. Why? Number one, they label parents domestic extremists for speaking out against school boards, pushing critical race theory, and purge the ranks of conservatives. So okay, so the FBI sent their lapdogs to come and harass parents who would dare speak out at the school boards for them trying to brainwash the kids with this critical race theory crap and try to intimidate them. In other words, so if you have a problem with a critical race theory or this transgender stuff, then we're going to make it a federal crime. We're going to intimidate you. We're going to try to arrest you. Or, you see it happening in some cities, maybe not in a city near you, but it definitely has been happening in some areas. And they were called out on that. But you have that going on, and you have them with these Gestapo style tactics and acting like the brown shirts, which the brown shirts did the same thing back in Hitler's day, appointed by Hitler, which is Joe Biden is doing the same thing, weaponizing the FBI, weaponizing the IRS, weaponizing the DOJ to come after conservatives and Christians. And let me tell you something, for you pastors who you think that you're, oh no, this don't affect me, the ultimate goal is to come after the church. And so you better understand what's going on here. If you think you're exempt, see, but the problem is that what they're trying to do, they're trying to oppress Trump and come against him because they don't want him to run. This is why they've been trying to get him thrown in jail. This is why they're trying to see him arrested, because they're trying to hurt his credibility and have people shy away from him. And they're trying to hurt him to where he cannot run for office, because they already know in the popular polls that hands down he smashes Biden, which he did last time. But anyway, they want him now. Okay, if Biden had the popular vote, why they keep trying to mess with him? Why they broke into his house illegally? And they're trying to find stuff that's not even there. And one thing, they may try to do is even plant evidence, fake evidence. And they're trying to look for stuff, got into a safe, couldn't find nothing in the safe, but yet they're trying to find a crime. So now the most mistreated since day one, because his policies are pro-America, as I said, as opposed to Biden's and others, which is anti-America, anti-government. I mean, it's it's anti-big government is what Trump is, and the problem is that Biden wants big government and wants control over every area. And so another thing is that the same forces behind all of this also in the FBI wanted to, now let's come back over to the FBI for a second and come away from Trump. The same people that came after him that's going to come after you. They're trying to purge out the FBI, and they want obedient lapdogs and obedient slaves that's going to persecute and prosecute the people. You have a lot of people right now with the January 6th deal that's just been in there for months and haven't even seen a judge yet and don't even have a charge for a crime. But yet you have people from BLM and Antifa and all these other groups that have torn up cities, destroyed areas, held areas hostage, went into federal buildings, and yet they're excused DAs who released them the same day. Kamala saying, let's get funds up for them so we can just go ahead and get them out of there. Crimes drop, no fouls, no charges filed, anything. But yet, it's the other way around on the other side. And so if you have Betsy Ross or Gadsden flag, you're a terrorist. You notice they won't do nothing to Hillary, which even on CNN of all channels, they admitted that about the Hillary breaking all the different cell phones and washing them and trying to erase evidence. And so one of the ladies there was like, "Oh, no! Wait, we need a fact checker. We need a fact checker." And the other guy was like, "Yeah, no, it's true. Hillary tried to hid and destroyed all evidence, and not one thing happened." So she was looking stupid and dumbfounded because she was cornered. All she could do is just look dumb because she's trying to, pander to her base. And so, you know, persecution, what they're trying to do is get the people upset. The FBI, the DOJ, they're trying to provoke the people to a point of anger to where they get them frustrated and get them to react. And this is where we need to be praying. We need to be seeking the Lord for his wisdom. Now, I understand, as Ecclesiastes say, there is a time for everything, and they are going to push too far because everybody has a breaking point where, all the other stuff is out the window. They're disqualified from being classified as government, as law enforcement, or whatever you want to call it, because now they're operating in the realm of tyranny and injustice, and the people aren't going to stand for it. You keep pushing them around, you keep messing with them, you keep provoking them, and they're going to fire back. And if they try to arrest Trump, what's going to happen is they're trying to provoke a civil war. Eventually, I see it coming some way, somehow, and let's pray it don't happen. But you keep provoking the hornet's nest, and that's what's going to happen. And there be more of us than it be of them. And so when you get a person to that point, past the point of no return, it's going to be ugly. And it won't go well in their favor. But this is what they want. And so you have the DOJ, the FBI, and all these other groups that have on the DHS memo and the FBI, they have you classified under a list. Let me get that list real quick. Okay, they claim you're bad now. This is a list that the FBI has, a list that they claim you're bad if you're one of these. And the DHS has memos on people who fit these two categories, the Department of Homeland Security. If you, being white, being a Christian, owning a firearm, or believing in the Second Amendment, believing the Bible, opposing the 9/11 narrative, the official legacy media, lamestream media narrative, displaying Gadsden flags or other symbols, being conservative, which I told you the FBI tried to purge all the conservatives, and now that's why there's a bunch of FBI whistleblowers who are starting to tell the truth about what's going on and what's happening now. Believing in the Constitution, supporting the Second Amendment, homeschooling, suspecting fraud in the 2020 election. And this is why you had YouTube and a lot of other platforms that if you mention certain things about that, you can mention the one about Trump and say Russia, but about the one with Joe Biden winning, you couldn't mention anything negative in the 2020 election, and they will shut you down if you mention that, or if you mention certain things that wasn't correct about this the whole corona thing, and the remedy that they came out with. Also opposing the transgender agenda. And so this is the things that they have people on the list for. If you believe in these things or if you support these things, then you're a bad person. And so on the FBI list and the Department of Homeland Security list, they have you on here if they consider you an extremist. And so they're using these as a reason to go after you or see you as radical. And this is why they're brainwashing all of these different agents, and they are weaponizing them to a greater level as never seen before. But again, as I said, they're going to push. They're going to push, and they're going to push, and they're going to ask for the wrong thing. And then when they get the smoke, they're going to hate what they asked for. And so I'll leave you with this one thing here. Well, I won't show you that video, but it's on my YouTube channel. It has a gentleman, and it says I believe it says a warning and a sober message to those in big government. Just check it out. But the main thing is that we need to be praying, because I don't want to advocate for violence. That's what the enemy wants. But we need to be praying, those who are believers. And the times are crazy. They're changing, and we have to realize this is a spiritual battle, and Satan is bringing out everyone to the battlefield, all the forces of darkness, to come to to persecute those who love righteousness, who loves justice, who loves truth. So but again, like I said, that day will come when they push too far, and when you reach that point of return, when the people collectively are angry and had enough of being persecuted, and rightfully so, there will come a 1776 style revolution where people are going to stand up for their rights and put citizens arrest on those in government and remove them personally. So I pray that don't happen, but they better. I will warn those in big government, you better stop while you can. Stop while you're ahead, because when the people are angry and you stirred the hornet's nest, there's nothing you can do to stop their anger, because they outnumber you. So Christians, be praying, pray for peace, pray for God to just have his way and show up, and pray for President Trump. Pray for President Trump. And I'm glad people are waking up to the tyranny and the evil that's going on in this government, and how these people are being weaponized to come after political enemies of Biden and this evil AG Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland, you better repent, buddy, because you're in for a rude awakening if you die in your sins.